As I record this morning's reflections, I'm standing here on my back porch, taking a bit of a breath. It's been an overwhelming week, to say the least, with the sump pump failing in the basement. That's been very stressful, of course. And then our James has just started a new job up in North Bay during the evenings, and it's only a 4-hour shift right now. So I take him to work, I drop him off, and then I sit in a Tim Hortons. So I'm tired, I must admit. I very often say that God uses all things for our good and for His glory. And sometimes there are things that aren't good from what we can see, and those are the things that I tend to call all things. So staying up all night with James is almost an all thing. But the neat part about it is that I've got lots of time on my hands. So it's been a wonderful time actually to just sit with a cup of tea and to study the Bible and to read some devotional books and just to take that time with God. And because I've been doing that, it's been able to relieve some of the stress in my heart, to remind me that God is with me and looking after everything, even with the sump pump. If I hadn't have had to be up at a certain time, the water level would have been a lot more than what it was. And the fact that my boss said, call your insurance company, and I did. And they're coming in and they're cleaning up this mess for us. And it's covering more things than I ever realized. That my stress levels are going down, just like the water in the basement. Sometimes it's hard to know what's going on, what God is up to. Sometimes all we can see is all that snow over there. And our eyes get stuck and focused on the problem. Where if we can focus on God and trust Him, we'll realize that down here there are seeds and there are plants starting to grow. And daylilies, my daylilies are coming back. And it's so encouraging. When Peter saw Jesus walking across the surface of the water, he said, Lord, if that's really you, ask me to come to you. He wanted to build his faith. And Jesus said, come. So Peter stepped out of the boat and stepped on top of the water. And as he looked at Jesus, he was fine, but when he looked at the waves, which were the test of his faith, he started to sink and said, Lord, save me. And Jesus reached down and took his hand and saved him. I've been asking God for more faith. And so He has said to me, okay, step out on the water. And admittedly, I've started to sink a little bit during this week. But instead of just saying, that's it, I'm done for, I've said, Lord, save me, because if you can't, I can't do this. And He has reached down His hand and pulled me up and is showing me Himself in awesome ways. So I want to encourage you folk that no matter the trial, God is always there. And if we just say, Lord, save me, He does. And it's not just an eternal salvation, but it's a salvation for whatever is going on in your life right now. And He will cause the seeds of faith to grow in your life, as He's continuing to do in mine. Keep your focus on Him. It's worth it. Blessings.